flooded in here. Oh, wow. Okay, so there was some sort of leak here. We boarded up as best we could, but it doesn't look like we kept out some of the water. So it was raining really hard to get all in here. I think the couch is okay. So you just have to clean up. Okay, so not too bad for my first hurricane.
We have a few stragglers who came in. I know, and I wanted to mention them so everyone knows who they are. Okay, I'd like to introduce you to King Kevin. He and I are actually both authors. We met working on a panel at Miami Dade of Caribbean authors. This is where I met him. He's actually the author of 7 Queens, King's Desire. Wow. It's a really amazing book, and so I'm happy that he's come to be a part of the housewarming. Maddie and Billy Delgado, who just walked in. Of course, you know Billy, a writer at NEWD magazine, my online magazine. So I would like to offer you an intimate book reading, so you can get a sense of what's in the book. My dad will actually do a bit of reading, an excerpt, and I will do one after him. So, without further ado, I made my godparents stay for this, but I didn't want them to leave. This is so very important. This is so very important that you are privy to the work that we worked on for about a year. So, okay, drum roll, please. Okay, so Livingston Knowles is the co-author, so I'm going to ask him to come down out of the writing loft. And
one thing I've discovered, especially in America, there's a saying, stranger danger. A stranger is actually a friend you've yet to know. And an immigrant, being a stranger to a country, is an easy pick to be an enemy and to be considered a threat, to be considered dangerous, to be considered something that is going to injure your welfare and your well-being of life. I remember when I came here when I was about 20-something, quite a few years ago, and I've always thought America to be a land of opportunity. Most immigrants, despite what you may hear, most immigrants come to this country to seek out the land of opportunity to better themselves and the people around them. And I'd like to read you a little bit about a lady from Trinidad. Her father was an alcoholic. He would get paid on Friday, and by Saturday the money would all be gone. With 5 mouths to feed and with the only source of income in the house being very volatile, there was constant bickering between mother and father. Food was always scarce, and clothing was even scarcer. I would go around the community to families who seemed to be better off and to beg for clothes that their children no longer needed or wanted, Shira remembered. She recalls that undergarments were always a luxury and in short supply, as people would never consider giving away such items. My mother one day found 2 pieces of cloth, one pink and one yellow. She cut the 2 pieces of cloth with a knife because we could not even afford a pair of scissors, and sewed them together to make me 2 pairs of panties. One I would use at home, and the other would be for school. A person who comes from that background, you would tend to think that that person would come to a country to get on welfare, to make it better for ourselves. But this is what happened. This is the end of the story, or the rest of the story, like Paul Harvey would say. When human beings endure such sorrow, heartbreak, and hardship for much of their lives, only one of two things happens to them. They either become cold, heartless creatures, living corpses only waiting to expire and be swept into some hole in the ground, or they become humble, joyous, kind, and gentle people, willing to leave the world a better place than they found it. Shira has chosen the latter. Life is squeezed out of them, or her and her husband, all pride, arrogance, and mean-spiritedness. Despite enduring ovarian and uterine cancer, suspicious lumps in both breasts, from which Shira was miraculously healed, despite Steve, her husband, undergoing second-degree burns from rooftop, the scars which are still visible on his hands, their cheery manner and positive attitude have never wavered or diminished. They have given away 3 cars, and they've had 3 cars stolen from them. One incident in particular is worth noting. A fellow in their church was without a car. Shira said she was inspired to give him her car. The young man came to her apartment to pick up the car. There was a big problem, however. He did not even have money to put gas in the car, let alone purchase insurance. I turned around, went back upstairs to my apartment, took the $500, all the money in the house, and gave it to him to buy the insurance, she said. The young man burst into tears at such an unbelievable gesture. That's what life can do for a human being. When you decide that you are going to make the world a little bit better, wherever you find it. When she came to America, she came with an attitude that I'm going to make sure, make it easy for the next person who comes behind me.
I would like to read you a story of someone also I know personally, and I decided to put their story in the book because when I moved to New York about 13 years ago, it was really tough. New York is a very tough town. It will eat you up and spit you out. It's not easy to live there. It was difficult for me to stay afloat. This family, this immigrant family who attended my church, they were so amazing. They're from Guyana. And they had just recently bought a home, and just recently bought it. And they invited me over to their home, and every week they would invite me over to their home. You'd think that they want to get used to the space, right? This is their space, they just bought a home. But they were so open and so giving. They used to let me, they would pick me up, drop me off, take me to work, let me drive their car. Amazing people. And when I heard their story, I couldn't believe it. And so I wanted to put the story of the patriarch of the family in the book. And his name is Brian Phillippe. Walking down a small, dark street away from Brooklyn's Utica Avenue on a cold Friday night, Brian Phillippe felt invincible. It was payday, and as was his custom, he had separated his money into 2 stacks. The bulk of the money he stored in his shoe, the rest in his shirt pocket. The bright lights at the busy intersection had already grown dim when he saw 5 menacing figures approaching him with imperiling aim. His blood curdled and he froze. The group had him cornered, and there was no help in sight. To silence his impending cry for help, one shoved a gun into his mouth and said, "Give me your money." It was hard to think with the taste of cold metal barrel against his tongue, teeth, and lips. But Brian sprang into action. He reached into his shirt pocket and handed over a sole $20 bill. The thief took it, and they all scuttled off. Brian fled the scene quickly for fear that the unsightly crew would return. realizing that their spoils were insufficient. He was really shaken up, and it wasn't about the money. Nothing so violent had ever happened to him since moving to New York 5 years ago. What if the thugs had made good on their threat? They wouldn't just be killing him, but the dreams of his entire family. Who would tell his wife and son back home in Guyana? So that's how the story starts. And I'll tell you, this is a bit of a spoiler, but I just think it's an amazing part of the story. He was alone in the country for 13 years. And he was faithful to his wife and son all of that time. And when he finally got papers for them, he reunited with them in Guyana. Tears, 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 because he had not seen his son, I think before he was 2. He was 2 years old when he moved to the United States, so he was 15 when he was reunited with his son. It's an incredible story of patience and perseverance and waiting it out, and I think that's what the chapter's called, wait it out. So, I wanted to read you part of that story because it's very deeply personal for me, because for someone to have left their homeland and made it better for his family, and then to touch me while I was in New York, it's just a story of paying it forward. So I would encourage you all to take that nugget with you. And what's next is we are going to be up there in the writer's loft, and if you want to come see us, take photos with us, chat with us, get a book, and we'll sign it. We will be there for another 30 minutes. Then DJ Pash is going to be on the 1s and 2s.
It's very important for you guys. Support Tiffany. All right, thank you.
The bucket.
But he's a Kazuma king.
Oh, wow.